Good evening, everybody. This is Mike Tedesco of Wrestleview.com, the editor-in-chief of Wrestleview.com, here for big episode number 60, the go-home show to Survivor Series 2019. 60 episodes. My goodness gracious. Wow. A lot to talk about tonight, for sure. I have the baby somewhere in the background watching intently. We're trying to get her to go to bed, but that's not really going too well right now. The baby is just a little gassy right now, so we'll see if you might even hear her cry a little bit in the background. So if you do, just for those that are parents, you'll understand. Even if you're not, I'm sure you'll understand anyway. It's not going to interrupt the show too much. Even if it does, too bad. Anyway, let's say hello to the people in the chat room real quick. We got Quentin Walters here. Princess Tedesco RKO's the parents once again. You darn tootin'. Yeah, you're damn right. Nafisa Dada, hello. Initiator, hello. Hey, kiddo. Hey, how you doing? Michoon Walls, what's up, King Tedesco and Peeps? And Kit Dyson, hey, Mike. All right. Yeah, Quentin Walters, 60 episodes. We are old. Oh, yeah. We're getting there. I can't believe that, we've been doing this show. Well, I currently am doing the show right now. Victoria will be back at some point as well. Not on a night like this. When she comes back, it might be inconsistent appearances every now and then. She might have to take off, especially on a night like this where she's just walking the baby all around the house and trying to get her to go to sleep. Randy M totally gets it. Yeah, I'm sure he does. But yeah, 60 episodes. We've been doing this since summer of last year, so it survived all this time. I enjoy doing it, even though this Raw was a little bit of a challenge to get through tonight. Nafis Sadat, Nafis, please don't be giving away spoilers here. She will be back on the 69th episode. Well, I don't want to either confirm or deny that is the case, but that would be pretty damn epic. Just 9 more weeks. That puts us. What does that put us after New Year's? A little after New Year's, heading into Royal Rumble. I think that would put us. So. It's quite possible. I skipped and caught the recap online, Randy M says. Now that is smart. The recap is always better than the show, I think. Whoever does the recap for Wrestleview.com is pretty damn good there. Pretty top notch, if I do say so myself. Oh, that would be me. That absolutely would be me. Okay. I believe we got Billy Hefner in the chat room too as well. My dear friend Billy. And let's get this thing started. Let's kick this thing off. Let's talk about, Baby T will be 3 to 4 months old around that time. Totally doable. Very true. We'll see. January might be a little tough. The show might be on hiatus for a little bit with the baby surgery coming up. I think that we believe it's going to be in January, so we might not actually make that 69th episode until February. We'll see. Who knows? We'll do our best. Okay, let's talk about this Raw tonight from Boston, Massachusetts. We're back. It's not a taped show. They're not in Long Island, so the crowd was hot. Did they give them a good show? That's the question I think I'd like to ask right now. Let's see, what do the Twitter polls say real quick. Did they give them a good show, yes or no? Oh, my hotkeys aren't working right now, so I'll just switch over like this. 53% are giving it a thumbs down at the moment. What do I think? Well, let's find out. This was, honestly, it's the go-home show to Survivor Series. This has been a really, really good build to Survivor Series so far. I mean, they had last week's tape show from Manchester was a little bit of a clunker for me. I didn't really enjoy it all that much. But overall, with the overall reset of Raw and what they've been doing and, attempting to keep the brands separate, even though it's not at all possible. This has felt like a really big deal. And then you throw in the CM Punk return, even though he's not returning to wrestling or anything like that. You still have the fact that Survivor Series is going to be in Chicago. It's right in his backyard. What's to say that he couldn't do just an appearance at the show or something like that, just to get that big pop and stuff like that. And just, it's funny. I was talking with Billy Hefner earlier tonight, and they advertised CM Punk on Raw twice for being on WWE Backstage. And, after all these years, he walked out. Late January 2014. I think it was like January 28th or January 29th or whatever, the day after the Royal Rumble. Walked out of Cleveland and said he was done with WWE. They sued him, served him his papers on his wedding day to AJ Mendez. He took them they went to court. They had a battle, him and Colt Cabana, after what CM Punk said on his Art of Wrestling podcast about the medical doctor that they have there. I forget his name off the top of my head real quick. Somebody will remind me in the chat room, I'm sure. And essentially, it seems like, my God, they'll never have a working relationship ever again. And now he's back, and we had for years all these CM Punk chants. Oh, if CM Punk was back, things would be so much better. It just didn't seem like a big deal, and probably because it's on FS1 and WWE Backstage, and technically it's not a WWE production; it's a Fox production, even though it's a very pro WWE show. And I guess not a lot of people watch FS1 or get FS1. It just doesn't seem like a big deal. But I think the day that Punk shows up on Raw or SmackDown, that'll be a big deal. I mean, like, even like the traction in like the wrestling media, like when I first posted the story, when I got the press release from Fox, because I wasn't even watching Backstage when it happened, and then I caught a clip online. All of a sudden, I get an email from Fox sent with the press release, and I threw it up, and I thought, oh God, this is going to be like just a crazy story. Wow. Didn't really get a lot of action. Didn't really get a lot of pull. How did everybody in the chat room feel about it? That's what I'm curious about. But like when they advertised it on Raw, it didn't really seem like a big deal at all. A couple people saying Joseph Maroon, but no, not Joseph Maroon. Maroon is the guy. Actually, he was one of the. I believe he was one of the antagonists in the movie Concussion with Will Smith. Bennett Amahu, who figured out CTE. Not that guy. The guy who gave him the Z-Pack. Can't remember his name. It definitely wasn't Maroon though. Maroon is the main guy that they did. Initiator says 6 years since he was a draw. Who cares? Well, that's good. That's a good point. And also, he's not returning to in-ring action, so Now, Fisada, I feel like Punk had to really think hard before making a return to anything WWE related, given how bad things got. He put out a tweet earlier today because he's trying to promote what he's doing tomorrow on Backstage, and I got to say, I am going to watch. I am absolutely going to be watching. He said it's really tough trying to catch up with the past 5 years of pro wrestling. There was a lot of good, particularly with the women, but there has been a lot of bad. And no one is safe, and he's going to discuss it all tomorrow night on Backstage. So I am kind of interested to hear what he has to say. This will be the thing that makes or breaks whether I watch WWE Backstage ever again after tomorrow night, because I really have had no interest at all in seeing the show. I mean, initially it was supposed to be like this thing where it's supposed to be like a legitimate sports themed show where they talk about the good and the bad. If like say Sin Cara requests his release or Oni Lorcan requests his release this week, like that would be reported on Backstage, and it wasn't. Well, obviously the Oni Lorcan thing happened over the weekend. The Sin Cara thing happened before Raw went on the air last week. He requested his leave right in the middle of the European tour. He finished out the tour, commendable. And they didn't use him tonight on Raw, obviously. But they didn't report that on Backstage, so it's really just like, even though it's supposed to be like, we're going to cover all the good and the ugly, the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's been a very pro WWE show. If CM Punk goes on there tomorrow and really does a serious, kind of like a serious autopsy on what's been happening in wrestling the last 5 or 6 years, I'd be interested to hear what he has to say, and I'd be interested to see if WWE lets him, lets him just do it, and just to see what happens there. I think that could be really interesting, and that would make or break whether I watch that damn show again. Thank you, Chris Amon, Chris Amon, Chris Amon, whatever. Hey, Sweet Lou's in the chat room tonight. All right, Sweet Lou. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. A bunch of people came up with it now. Maroon is a doctor for the E. That is correct. He's the one who was keeping Daniel Bryan out because of the CTE thing. But Maroon is also, other than being in WWE, he was played by Alec Baldwin, I believe, in Concussion. And he's very high up there, or he at least was high up there with the NFL doctors as well. And that reputation is what led to him being hired by WWE when they had to revamp their concussion protocol and all that stuff in the wake of the unfortunate situation with Chris Benoit. So yeah, he's definitely. I know that Maroon is involved, but the doctor in question here, the Z-Pac man, is Chris Amon, who wound up losing to Punk and Colt Cabana. And then Colt Cabana turned around and sued CM Punk, and then they settled with prejudice. A lot of fun. Must have been really good times hanging out there. Anyway, it's a big week. It's a big week for wrestling. We have, we got Survivor Series. We got NXT, which, again, they made no bones about it. There's going to be some main roster stars on NXT this week. AEW is not coming off a pay-per-view. And the last time that they had superstars on main roster superstars on NXT, the needle moved so much that they were separated by 8,000 viewers, the closest that they've been, but AEW still beat them. I said 2 weeks ago if AEW was going to if NXT was going to beat AEW, it would have been that week, but they get a little reprieve this week. Next week, it just doesn't make much sense, but we'll see. AEW also has a stacked show as well, so... Again, we will see what happens there. All right, let's get into this Raw. Again, good show. Some things, of course, don't make any sense. I'm going to get into it because there's some things that don't make sense so much that I just want to rip my hair out because it's so just infuriating. How can storytelling be this bad in the company? How in a company like this where they have so many professional writers can the writing be this bad? And so, sometimes, it's just, and it's not like they're putting out a horrible product. Right now, it's probably the best the product's been in the fall in years. But still, there are just some real nagging problems here. Real nagging problems. For instance, okay, we got Becky Lynch coming out here, cuts... just happy-go-lucky face promo. Oh, we're in Boston. I'm Irish. I don't want to team with Charlotte Flair. I never asked to team with Charlotte Flair, but the powers that be want me to team with Charlotte Flair, so that's what we're doing. The Iconics come out. I was like, oh, great. This is going to be, they're going to go 2 segments. It's going to be a bad match. Charlotte Flair comes out. She says that she doesn't want to team with her either, but the Forces want them anyway. And then they send Samoa Joe out. Actually, forget all that crap. I want to talk about Samoa Joe for a second. Dio Madden has been gone for the last he was definitely gone in Manchester. He was gone for most of the show when he got F5 through the table 2 weeks ago. And now he wasn't here tonight. They send out Samoa Joe, who I did catch on Backstage last week after I found out CM Punk came out. I had the show taped anyway, so I watched it. And Joe was great. Really, really great on that show. Really had just so much charisma, so much personality that you don't get to see. I mean, we all know he's a great promo. He's a great promo. He's really good. He's solid in the ring, but he has some just great charisma. He was doing a couple things backstage. A couple of his teases and lead-ins and stuff like that were just so professional. It's is this guy a pro wrestler or is he an actual TV journalist? He's really good. They send Samoa Joe out there after Charlotte Flair gets in the ring with Becky Lynch and the Iconics, and we're going to have this match. Joe comes out, joins commentary. So Dio Madden, I don't know what's going on with him. I know he's very, very green. Maybe they wanted to give him a couple more reps or, give him some practice backstage before putting him out there again or whatever it is. But Joe absolutely killed it on commentary tonight. Absolutely killed it. I mean, towards the end, yeah, it's a 3-hour show, and you could tell he was getting tired, and the quips were getting tougher to come up with. But for the most part, he was excellent. He was excellent in getting the heels over And in certain matches, like with the Buddy Murphy Akira Tozawa match, he added so much to it. Like, where has this been? Where has this been for forever on this show? Seriously. This was the best commentary on Raw in years. Can I say? Can I say that this might have been one of the best nights of commentary on this show in years? Seriously, it's like right up there in the top 5. That's how good this was tonight. Probably the best it was since CM Punk got injured and he did a spell on commentary for a little bit here and there doing things. It was that good, really, really good. He just absolutely killed it. Hey, we got CJ Bowman in the chat room tonight. Hello, CJ. Oh, James Lacerenza or James Influenza in the chat room as well. Very good. People liked it. Joe equals next Punk on the mic. Okay. Oh, well, I don't know. Vince is shaking things up. We'll see. Yeah, CJ makes a good point. Miz commentary is good too. Yeah, all these guys that can talk generally make pretty damn good commentators, but Joe was like next level. Really, really, really good. It's one thing to do a commentary on, SmackDown or something like that, but to do 3 hours on Raw, just out of nowhere, never done it before, that was pretty good. I'd love to see him come back next week. I don't know how long this thumb is going to take to heal, but he's still in the cast, so we'll see. But this was a huge improvement. Really, really excellent. Unexpected surprise, and it added a lot to the show. We get the Iconics versus Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair. Absolutely no explanation for why Charlotte Flair teamed with Natalia 2 weeks in a row, including tapping out the tag team champions. Natalia tapped out Asuka. They obviously were set up for a title match because that's what happens. You beat the champions, you get the title match. Then the next week, it's just, Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair are getting the title match. Natalia's gone. She has a family affair or whatever. And now, their second week in a row, they're teaming up. It just makes... Why? There's no explanation given. Like, why? I don't understand. I don't get it. Why can't we just have some consistency here? And it's not like that they were just like, forget about Becky Lynch. Forget about Charlotte Flair and Natalia teaming up because we have to have Asuka get her win back over Natalia, who tapped her out, and now it means absolutely nothing. So Asuka's got to get her win back. So they had to face each other tonight, and Asuka got her win back. What are they doing here? Like it's just like. Does everything have to feel like a gigantic waste of time? You start like investing into a story, and again, just like so many times before, they pull the rug out from under you, right out from under your feet. Granted, Natalia and Charlotte Flair was not going to make a difference in the needle and make a difference at the gate whatsoever, but it's just another example of just bad storytelling and just everything's fly by night. Everything is reactionary. Everything is, here's a better idea, so let's just shelve that and we'll do this. There's no long-term planning here. That's basically my point here. How can you be good storytellers if you have no long-term planning? If each story doesn't have a chapter, each story gets like a synopsis and then it's over. You don't even know the ending. You don't even get to find out the ending of some of these stories. It just doesn't make sense. So that was a little frustrating. The good thing about this match was I thought we were going to get like 2 segments of the Iconics pretending to wrestle or playing wrestler. And Charlotte Flair and Becky Lynch took it to them so quickly. Becky Lynch never even tagged in. Charlotte Flair tapped out Billie Kay with the figure 8, and that was it. They send out Shayna Baszler, Marina Shafir, and Jessamine Duke. They get into a brawl. They brawl into the crowd. That's the end of that. So overall, not bad. But man, I'm just like, it's frustrating to watch sometimes. It really, really is. James, but Mike, I want wrestling, not stories. Well, if you want that, you can go to AEW because they have plenty of wrestling, not a ton of stories. They actually, I would love to see AEW work on incorporating a few more stories into their Dynamite broadcast, which is excellent. I love watching Dynamite every week. But I just, it's the same thing with NXT. The same complaint that I have with NXT. Just because NXT was on the WWE Network doesn't mean that everybody watched it. You have to reintroduce these people to a television audience, or introduce them for the first time. Who is Adam Cole? Why should I care? What are the Undisputed Era? What is a Matt Riddle? What is a Velveteen Dream? These are not like name brand people in WWE. Like, yeah, they're name brands with like the people that, you know, are in the know and know that NXT is the cool thing. But if you're watching on TV, flicking through the channels, like, who are these small guys and why should I care about them? We need to know why. Same thing with AEW Dynamite. I don't know why I should care about Cody Rhodes. Last I saw him, if I'm just a casual viewer and I know just a tiny bit about wrestling, wasn't he the guy that was dressing up in gold and hissing like a cat last time I saw him? Wasn't he Stardust? Why should I care about him? Why is that loser getting a title shot? Yeah, he cut a good promo, but there's not enough character building and introducing of people to really get me to care. All it is just like, oh, well, Chris Jericho's on the show. Oh, I know him, so I'll watch. But Young Bucks, Lucha Brothers, who are they? Why should I care? They need to do a better job telling some stories there. They really do. Riho. Again, yeah, Riho is 98-pound weakling women's champ. I love Riho. And actually, I thought the match that she had at Full Gear was just excellent. Really just excellent. Riho is actually too good for the women that they're giving her to fight. I am with Kenny Omega in the fact that Riho could be a humongous star. I just don't, she's a little young, but she has so much talent, and she's just not in there with the right talent right now. Anyway, yeah. And James Lorenz actually brings up NWA Power. NWA Power actually does a good job of putting over their guys and introducing them and letting you know who the heck they are. So NWA Power's got it going on. I just don't know if a lot of people know about it. I really think they should. James Lorenz says Marco Stunt is way more interesting than Natty, and I don't like Marco. Well, yes. Natalia it's not interesting whatsoever. Okay, getting back to Raw. And telling stories. I don't know how I got off on that tangent. If someone could remind me, I'll probably figure out what the overall meaning of that was. But we're back with, I'm trying to think. Whatever. I can't think of it. Anyway, we're back with Charlie Caruso is backstage with Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins, who they were advertised. Of course, anything that gets advertised, you can almost be sure it's either not going to happen or it's going to have a non-finish. The only matches that get non-finishes are the ones that are advertised. Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins, they're talking about how they prepared for the Raw Tag Team Championship, and then the Authors of Pain attacked them and wiped them out. So I love that. I hope that means that the Authors of Pain will be getting a title shot coming up soon, because I think maybe they finally are going to use them right. It's going to be way better than Drake Maverick being their manager, wearing the AOP Halloween costume, and then peeing himself when Big Show grabs him, which is exactly what happened at Survivor Series last year when Enzo Amore also interrupted the match. Karl Anderson versus Humberto Carrillo. I talked about the problems that I've had with them building up Humberto Carrillo. I thought tonight of all nights was the night you face Karl Anderson. Granted, he's one half of the best tag team in the world. But if there was going to be a night where Humberto Carrillo just gets a solid win, of course it would have to be against Karl Anderson, right? No. He can't beat Karl Anderson on his own either. In fact, he gets killed and the Street Profits help him cheat to win. How am I supposed to care about Humberto Carrillo again? Just because they have a couple guys putting him over and they had Rey Mysterio later on in the night put him over? Now he's getting a U.S. title match next week, and that was their big breaking news. I'm not getting it. And watch, he'll actually probably wind up winning the U.S. title next week from AJ Styles in Chicago. You watch. I'd be very curious to see how Chicago reacts to Humberto Carrillo, who has not been put over in the most convincing fashion. And now they think, let's throw a title on him, and that'll do the trick. The title works for everybody. Yes. Nah. Not really. Wasn't really interested in this match. Kind of blah. The one thing that did catch me during this segment, though, was the Seth Rollins interview. Rollins, it's no secret he's been having a really, really horrible couple of months in WWE. Ever since that dust-up that he had with Will Ospreay. Sorry, my dad brain, and it's late, and I didn't get much sleep last night. Will Ospreay, where he wanted to compare bank accounts, and that's just such a lame ass way to make an argument. People have been turning on him. So a couple of weeks ago, they had him come out and do a couple cheap pop things to try to get him cheered. Well, they pulled out every single page from the Mick Foley How to Get a Cheap Pop book. He was putting over the town, how great the town is, how the New England Patriots are the greatest football team on earth, and they have a quarterback that's so good the whole world wants to watch him fall. It's like, good Lord. You're like, it was cringy to watch. But it did get the crowd on his side. People are sheep, and hey, he likes my town. So that's that. Look, I'm rooting for Seth Rollins, so I guess if this is how they have to do it, that's how they have to do it. I think that they should just start booking him better. That's just me, though. That Fiend feud just really, really hurt him. Here's one thing that I was really glad we didn't get a lot of tonight. Bobby Lashley, Lana, Rusev. There's no Rusev at all. Lana cut just a brutal promo where she was just... I mean, yeah, she did save it by saying, "Oh, I'm flustered. I'm around Bobby. I'm flustered." But she talked about how she filed for divorce today, and she has a restraining order against Rusev. He can't be within 90 miles of her. And then Lashley corrects her. She goes, "Oh, thank you, Bobby, for correcting me. He's so good to me. 90 feet away from me. There we go. 90 feet away from me. He can't be anywhere near me." And she wants to be with Lashley forever. He killed No Way Jose in a nothing match. And just to add a little flavor, the little one's here.
She looks so happy. I just wanted to show you.
Aw, she's so cute. I love you. And just to give this feud a little more flavor, they gave Bobby Lashley the most boring finish in the history of professional wrestling. The old full Nelson. Perfect. That'll last for a little while, and then it'll be nothing. It's better than, I guess, his non-finish. It didn't even have a name for a while. He was doing the Dominator in his first run. I don't know why they just didn't bring that back. That's actually a pretty sweet move. But yeah, the full Nelson. So just to cap off this wonderful feud, Bobby Lashley's going to be tying Rusev in the full Nelson multiple times. Who asserted that? Randy M. That'll put butts in the seats. Zane Tricks, we need that happiness to cut through this awful segment. Oof. Yes. Oh my goodness. Okay. Here's number 2 of my real big problems with this show tonight. Seth Rollins and Andrade. They advertised this match. Seth Rollins was putting his Survivor Series spot on the line. If Andrade beats him, Andrade is going to be the team captain of Survivor Series, of Team Raw at Survivor Series. And if he doesn't beat him, Seth Rollins stays on the team. Oh, they went out and had a great match. An excellent match. A really damn good match. It was fun. The crowd was into it. It did a lot to put Seth Rollins over. This is what I was talking about. Instead of giving him something instead of giving him cheap pop promos, give him a match against Andrade And let them go out there and just tear the house down and get the crowd back on his side that way. Because when Seth Rollins is in the ring, that's what put him over to begin with. CJ, you're wrong. You have to introduce people on a TV show. Of course you do. You have to let Seth Rollins put a good match on to get people on his side. That's what got him over in the first place. That's how it's done. Not, Tom Brady kissing his ass session just to get Boston to cheer him. It's his wrestling. That's what's going to do it. And they went out there and had a great match. And then, of course, what do? They send out the Lucha House Party. The Lucha House Party. To interrupt this match and put it to a disqualification. Oh, good God. The Lucha House Party. I guess Fox, from what I understand, doesn't want to have any of their big stars crossing brands and whatever, so they couldn't send over guys like Roman Reigns. They couldn't send over Nakamura or Sami Zayn or The Miz or anybody like that. So they sent over the Goon Squad from SmackDown. I would rather not have used them at all. I would rather, or we had Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode backstage. We had the B team from SmackDown, and I'm not talking about Bo Dallas and Curtis Axel. I'm talking about like the actual B squad. Why couldn't Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode interrupt this match? At least that would have been a little more, that would have been easier to swallow than the Lucha House Party, interrupting a match that went that went through a commercial break. The crowd was into, people were loving it, and then how about this? How about none of that crap? How about Seth Rollins just beats Andrade straight up? Because they're not really going with anything with Andrade. That's just the facts. You know, they put him in with Sin Cara, and that was it. That's the only idea they had for him. Now Sin Cara wants out. Why couldn't they attack him after the match? It just felt like a giant waste of time. And again, another wasted opportunity to kind of get people back on the side of Seth Rollins, letting him have a good match where there's nothing negative coming out of it. You know, like all of his big matches, other than SummerSlam and WrestleMania, have had some kind of, and the AJ Styles match that he had after WrestleMania 2, that was really good too, have had some kind of screwy thing. It's been Baron Corbin and Lacey Evans, Braun Strowman, which obviously not a great main event, and then The Fiend in just a series of some of the worst matches that you'll find in WWE. Why can't we just have something positive with Rollins and his wrestling this year? Everything's got to be some kind of screwy finish. This was the perfect opportunity to let Seth Rollins get a solid win and let people say, like, damn, did you see that Rollins, did you see that Rollins match last night against Andrade? That was friggin' awesome. You got to go out of your way to watch it. And now instead of telling people to go out of their way to watch it only for the Lucha House, you really think anybody's going to say that only for the Lucha House Party to interfere? Come on. Just another garbage, crap, stupid thing. Lucha House Party's not even doing anything at Survivor Series. What the hell are they doing interfering in this match? Absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal. That's the best idea that they had? Come on. Anyway. Akira Tozawa versus Buddy Murphy. This was a really good match. This was the match that Seth Rollins should have had with Andrade, and he was having with Andrade until the Lucha House Party interfered. Match where two guys just go out there, have a freaking knockdown, drag-out brawl, killer, just absolutely killer spots, killer moves. A lot of fun introducing these guys to the crowd, letting them know that they're fighters and stuff like that, and then somebody gets a solid win. That's how you start building up stars. Buddy Murphy looked great in this. Akira Tozawa, who, honest to God, I completely forgot was on the Raw roster. Who remembered that? Killed it in this match. I would love to see Buddy Murphy and Akira Tozawa again. I would love to see Akira Tozawa just do something on Raw, even if it's just kind of like as in an enhancement role. There's a lot of value there, a lot of value. Buddy Murphy obviously it's no secret that he's really, really good, and looks like he's actually going to be getting a legitimate feud with Aleister Black. They actually had him go up and knock on Aleister Black's door. It was so goofy. Like, he knocked on the door, Aleister Black didn't answer, and he walks away, and then Aleister Black comes out like, who knocked on my door? Who knocked on my door? It was good. A lot of fun. And there, I got to show you this spot real quick because this was freaking awesome. Akira Tozawa, number one, does like a crazy suicide dive, flying headbutt thing. This time he goes for it. Buddy Murphy catches him, legitimately catches him, and hits him with a suplex on the floor. That was freaking awesome. And like, you would think that would get like a huge ooh and ah from the crowd, but it didn't. Like, I don't think they truly appreciated what they got to see tonight with these two. Really, really good. Again, this show was not lacking for good in-ring action. It had a ton of good in-ring action. Just not a lot of good finishes. This was not a bad finish, though. Murphy hits Murphy's Law, and we move on with our lives. Eric Rowan moves over to Raw and gets an animal cage, whatever. Kills some jobber. Okay, here's another one that I had a huge problem with. Kevin Owens and Drew McIntyre go out there and just absolutely tear the house down. Kevin Owens is so popular right now. I don't even know how. Like it's just wow. He just so over. Like it's like they booked him not really all that well. They haven't really used him, and every time he's out there, it's like wow, Kevin Owens is really, really over. Anyway, they had an awesome match, filled with tons of near falls. Owens did a couple of big, dangerous spots, really for no reason, especially when you consider how this match ended or didn't end. It could still be going on right now. But check this out. On the apron, McIntyre takes him, slams him. Like that's a dangerous move right there. He could have landed on his shoulder, dislocated it, popped it out. It's just there's a lot of things that could go wrong there. But even more could go wrong here. Check this out. This is on that LED apron side. Almost like a Death Valley driver fireman's carry slam. Look how he lands on his left arm there. Really nasty. And wow, I mean, this guy is always putting his body on the line. My hat's off to him for what he does. Him and McIntyre just had an excellent match. There was one point in this where Owens hit the stunner, and McIntyre. I'm sorry. Drew McIntyre hit him with the Claymore kick out of nowhere, and Owens got his foot on the bottom rope, and absolutely no one in Boston could believe it. It was such an awesome, organic moment. It kind of reminded me, and granted, I'm talking about like one of the best matches of all time, or one of the most memorable WrestleMania main events of all time, and this random Raw match. But there was, at WrestleMania 17 in 2001, if you go back and watch when Steve Austin first hit The Rock with the stunner, granted, I think Vince McMahon already came out, but the crowd was just so into this match. Hit him with the stunner, covers him, and The Rock kicks out. There's 70,000 people in that stadium. Everybody's screaming, 1, 2, and then it just goes dead silent, almost like a vortex just sucked all the sound out of the arena. And then they just go, oh, just everybody on the edge of their seat. That's what happened when McIntyre hit him with this Claymore kick, because this match was so hot and going so well. He gets the foot on the bottom rope, and everybody was just out of their minds happy. Started up This Is Awesome chant. And I can always, whenever I want, I can always fire up a This Is Awesome chant. Thanks to the fine people at Smark Button who sent me this little thing here, a Smark Button, where if you press it, you get whatever smarky kind of audience reaction you want. That one was a "you deserve it" chant. Holy shit. The smart button was alive and well in Boston tonight. And tons of "this is awesome" chants. This was such a great match. And then all of a sudden, Owens hits McIntyre with a stunner. Yes, I got a little sponsorship in there. It's pretty good. And then all of a sudden, Owens hits the stunner, and Triple H's music hits, and Drew McIntyre just evaporates. Match is over. Not even a finish. They didn't even send somebody out there for a DQ. And now it's just, you know what? Screw it. We don't even have to give them a finish. We don't even have to give a finish. But when a match is that good, you gotta give a finish. You have to. It's just so shitty not to take people through that emotional roller coaster and there's no payoff. That's... You want to figure out why people aren't interested in this product? Like, that right there, how many times have you just been disappointed? Like, this was a huge disappointment. Like, I actually, you just lost myself in recapping when I was watching this match. I was like, God, this is like one of the best Raw matches of the year. And then it just disintegrated. Triple H comes out, they go to commercial. Now Kevin Owens and Triple H are in the ring just standing there, and no explanation. No, like, oh, during the break, the Undisputed Era took out Drew McIntyre, and now it's just Kevin Owens and Triple H. Nothing. Just, again, just here's the carpet, rip. You know, all the wind out of your sails. No sense. No sense. Triple H does get in there, cuts a good promo, just like he did with Seth Rollins a few weeks ago, where he was trying to convince him to come over to NXT. Owens said nothing. They had the Forgotten Sons, Damian Priest, and Dominik Dijakovic at ringside. They're just there just to make sure that they can have a conversation and nothing more. Then the Raw locker room empties out. Big brawl with them and the NXT superstars. Then all of a sudden, the Undisputed Era just attacks Owens from behind. Owens never even gives an answer whether he's with Raw or whether he's with NXT. The Undisputed Era just attacks him. There's no direction of, did Triple H sick them on him? Because he did have a talk with Adam Cole, but that really wasn't covered in commentary. So again, we had this awesome match, and no payoff. And now we did this good angle and no payoff, no storytelling told whatsoever by the commentators, nothing. And then it was just, okay, that's over, next. Just a big waste of time. Why do you need to watch this show? It's only wasting your time. Even if they give you something good, it's still a waste of time. Oh, God. It's like, it's not how you keep people asking questions. That's how you turn people off, CJ. It's absolutely not. It's not an entitled take. It's not an entitled take. And you actually, your take is extremely foolish. You're carrying the flag for them, and they don't really need you to carry the flag. It's bad for the audience. It's bad booking. That's all it is. It's not an entitled take. It's certainly not helping them. If you can kind of explain how that makes people want to tune in to have their time wasted, I'd be all ears for hearing that. But that's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. Moving on, they have Paul Heyman backstage. The big breaking news: AJ Styles will defend the United States Championship against Humberto Carrillo. Paul Heyman does his typical awesome time to go home to the pay-per-view kind of spiel, kind of taking us through the history of Brock Lesnar and Rey Mysterio in September. And this was really good. This was actually a different way of kind of doing those promos, just kind of taking us through some video clips while Paul Heyman narrates. I kind of liked it because it's Paul Heyman always comes out with a good promo. You expect him to have a strong go-home promo for a Brock Lesnar match. And this was a different format for doing that. So again, for as much as I'm like kind of harping on some of the things that they're doing wrong, I still love this reset of Raw and that they're trying different things. I like that they're trying new guys out. I like that they're trying to establish some guys that maybe were on the back burner for a long time, like a Buddy Murphy. And even an Humberto Carrillo, even though I don't think that they actually are booking Humberto Carrillo all that well. This is like another one of those things. Like we're trying different formats for things, different ways to do, that big money promo. This was really good. And he kind of leaves you with like this kind of like movie style tagline. Will it be a miracle or a massacre? We'll all find out together this Sunday at Survivor Series. Mysterio cut, and then Rey Mysterio follows up with an equally great promo. Rey Mysterio, to me, not really known, at least in my mind, as one of the better promos in wrestling. I guess if it involves his family, it's strong, because this was full of emotion, totally awesome, delivered really, really well. He says the old me would be demanding an apology, but that's not Lesnar's style. Lesnar isn't one to apologize. That's okay, because this Sunday at Survivor Series, I'm not coming for an apology. I'm coming for the WWE Championship. This match is for my son. He's holding up the metal pipe, saying, that's why I chose this no holds barred match, because you can see what I can do with when I have a friend. So very, very strong stuff. Asuka versus Natalia. Asuka's got to get her win back, because now the Natalia Charlotte Flair thing just dissolved with no explanation given whatsoever. We have to now Natalia tapped Asuka out, which again, when it happened, I was like, why? Like you can beat the tag champs with a roll up and get the title match and do whatever finish you want. You don't need to beat them by submission, whatever. Especially because I figured that they weren't going to be a tag team for that long, and they weren't. They didn't even get a title match, though. It just dissolved with no explanation given whatsoever. So Asuka beats Natalia with a kick to the head, clean as a whistle, even though she was kind of distracted by Kairi Sane, but clean as a whistle. Let's see. Finally, we're at the main event. The Viking Raiders never got that match against Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins, so Randy Orton just took the match, even though I thought they were going to have AOP go out there tonight, which would have been really, really awesome. But Randy Orton and Ricochet, if you didn't see that coming, you're crazy. Especially when they announced Randy Orton, I was like, of course, it's going to be Ricochet. That's what they do. When you feud with each other, all of a sudden you team up with each other. And the third big match tonight that was a non-finish. And I get it. It's a go-home show for a pay-per-view. But damn, could one of them just had a finish? Seriously? All three? Nothing? Rollins and Andrade. That at least could have been it. Kevin Owens and Drew McIntyre just disintegrates. And now this match, they send out the SmackDown Goon Squad of Robert Roode, Cesaro, Dolph Ziggler, Heavy Machinery, and the Lucha House Party to break this up. Ugh. They actually have all of this. Every single superstar from NXT was there, but they had that's the best that they could get for SmackDown, I guess. Which is fine. Whatever. Fox doesn't want their people on there, but Triple H leaves us with a good cliffhanger. This is a cliffhanger. This is an actual cliffhanger. You want to watch this show because of this. I'm going to leave the doors wide open for anyone from Raw and SmackDown to show up on Wednesday on NXT. We're going to show you that we're the A brand. Leaving it like that right there, if there's going to be a week where NXT beats AEW, this is going to be the week. I thought, like I said, I thought 2 weeks ago could have been that time. This is the one. This was a really strong finish to Raw. NXT definitely was left standing tall. They looked really, really good coming out of this, especially because SmackDown didn't really send out anybody, and Raw is just Raw. So I'm very interested to see NXT. I'm really, really interested to see them. It should be good. But overall, this show, good in-ring action. Really, really good in-ring action. No finishes. I can't give this anything but a thumbs down. What do you say in the chat room? Is it a thumbs up, a thumbs down for you? Let's see what the Twitter is saying about it. Not looking good. Little worse than last time. 60% thumbs down, 40% thumbs up. 11 hours of voting to go. I don't really see that changing. This feels like it felt like a thumbs down Raw. Even though as I was watching, I mean, immediately, like when they did Andrade and Rollins, a no finish to that, when that obviously should have had a finish. I remember I usually texted Billy Hafner during Raw, and I just said, "Oh God, they just turned me right off. It's 9:00 and they turned me right off because another non-finish, another crap finish." And then as I was watching Kevin Owens and Drew McIntyre, I'm like, God, like this could be what saves the show. This could be it. And then that match just evaporated. Just like a Thanos snap, just gone. Adios. And then they have the Raw. I mean, I never thought there was going to be a finish to the Raw Tag Team Championship match. So that's not a big deal, but 3 matches with non-finishes? Good Lord. A lot of thumbs down in the chat room. Nafis Sadat is undecided. Quentin Walters, thumbs down. Randy M, thumbs down. Oh, God, CJ, to be perpetually get pissy, it's disheartening. T. Oh, God, CJ, seriously. Nafis is that a thumbs in the middle? Gold Steel X, thumbs down. Michelle Walls gives it a thumbs up. Well, we're a little all over the place tonight. It's pretty good. I got to give it a thumbs down. That's just me. It just couldn't. Yeah, no finishes. That sucks. I will be back this Sunday with Wrestleview Live with Doug Lackey. I think this is Wrestleview Live number 69. I am actually pretty sure this is going to be Wrestleview Live 69 with Doug Lackey reviewing Survivor Series. Should be a good one. I am really looking forward to Survivor Series. I will be recapping NXT Wednesday. I will be recapping. I think I'm supposed to recap SmackDown on Friday, but don't quote me on that. We might get some coverage for that. NXT TakeOver is going to be pretty cool, even though it's like that's such an afterthought since NXT's all over Survivor Series. So it's like, why do TakeOver this year? Because they're actually on the main show, which should be pretty good. Survivor Series and Raw. So I got a busy week of wrestling coming up. I'm really excited for it. I am pumped up to be covering good wrestling, even though not a lot of people are watching or interested in wrestling anymore. Should be pretty good. Oh, okay. Number 68 according to your playlist. Okay. You know what? If I did the Full Gear recap, actually that one was number 68, but I didn't get to do Full Gear because I had a family emergency on that night. So yeah, that means TLC will be 69 though. Excellent. Or maybe Crimbus. Crimbus might actually be the 69 Wrestleview Live. James, that's pretty good. That's if that's not good advertising, I don't know what the hell is. I don't know. So James has that feather in his cap. I'm Mike Tedesco, the editor-in-chief at Wrestleview.com. It was good chatting with you all this week. Thanks for stopping by and listening to me talk about Monday Night Raw. Good stuff. I'll see you on Sunday. Take care, everybody. Have a good week.